Good afternoon. My video will be um, an argument regarding the U.S. strike at Fordo and why the U.S. was not justified in going through with the bombing. Um, I will discuss what kind of precedent it sets for the United States to strike Fordo legally, morally, and strategically. Um, what they used and provide supporting details and facts for that argument. So, briefly, Fordo is the deeply buried uranium enrichment site in Iran, and it's considered one of the most fortified facilities. Um, the U.S. used a bunker buster, GBU 57, that was dropped from B 2 bombers to attack the facility. From a legal standpoint, there is violation of the UN Charter and a prohibition of the use of force. The UN Charter genuinely prohibits the use of force except in self-defense or within Security Council authorization. A strike on Iran's sovereign territory without imminent threat or authorization is, for many, interpreted as a violation of customary international law. Iran and other states or nations across the globe condemn the strikes as violations of these international laws. Domestically, when we think of the U.S. Constitution and any issues with causing potential wars, the attack calls into question whether the president had the authority to conduct a strike without getting prior consent or approval from Congress, especially because this could be interpreted as a very serious escalation because it was not done in self-defense. There's also the magnitude of the use of force. Again, citing the fact that it is a potential to start a war, which again requires congressional oversight. Iran is also a signatory of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and it places its nuclear facilities under monitoring. Attacking the facility undermines the treaty and damages its institutions. Another negative factor, of course, of going through with the attack. The attack also sends a message to other states and could sort of reinforce a non-compliance like we've seen with the U.S. And so having these treaties and agreements in place then sort of becomes moot, and then it undoes historically the work that many nations have tried to do to prevent nuclear warfare. The effectiveness of this, I think, is very doubtful. I don't think that there was a proper risk assessment, and that is sort of maybe a bit conjecture on my part, but I think that there is relevant data out there to support that, just based on the outcome of the strike. We haven't really received any independent confirmation after the strike that the facility's infrastructure was destroyed beyond repair. And there was also the very likely possibility that Iran had already moved or relocated sensitive materials or has duplicative capabilities elsewhere within the region, because that's what many countries would likely do to protect themselves. Circling back to this being sort of seen as an escalation, a strike is like this is massive, escalates conflict, and encourages retaliation, like missile strikes potentially on the United States, and could drag regional actors in as well. or Iran did, in some capacity, fire missiles at U.S. bases after this attack. It definitely sets a precedent that major powers can sort of like unilaterally bomb nuclear sites. It damages, I think, the U.S. reputation and its strategic standing globally, and adversaries may see it as overreach or aggression. There is a moral risk. I think we think about there was like a lot of casualties when we were in the Middle East, and that was something that reflected poorly in the United States many years ago. But when we also remember the effects of nuclear warfare further back in history and the U.S. involvement in that, some say that while there's a moderate or limited risk, there's still a risk to innocent civilian life. From a moral standpoint, I think such an extreme use of power is unnecessary and especially unprovoked. And those are my supporting arguments for why the U.S. was not justified to participate in this strike. Thank you.